Ever wondered what it's like in Torremolinos? Whether you should buy there, holiday there? You're going to find out in this carpool, and I have got the best guests imaginable who are going to help us navigate all of Torremolinos, the beaches, the hillsides, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Morning, Alfredo.
Hello, hello.
What a lovely day for it.
It is.
I'm super excited about this. You finally got your way after how many years? About 10, 15 years of saying that you wanted me to do this. I finally made the effort. I've driven 45 minutes down the road, and here we are in
Torremolinos.
I
Yes.
brought my passport just in case.
And it's a sunny day. We kind of figured we'd use a cloudy day for it, but as you can see now,
So
we just
sunny.
passed in the Torremolinos.
You don't get any rain in
boundary.
Torremolinos, do you? It's just sunny all the time, I
It's
guess.
always sunny.
And this is an area that you know like the back of your hand.
I do. In 1978, we lived in this apartment building on the right.
Wow.
This yellowy one called Rafia. And that's when my parents first split up, so I was about 7. Go straight ahead. Now this split here is super important because when I grew up here, so straight down,
Yeah.
this road didn't exist, and there was no motorway. So all the traffic of the coast, if you were going to Gibraltar, Marbella, Getiras, wherever,
Came along, yeah.
this little street.
Wow.
So this was here to the right before. This is Magna, one of the new development, a huge new development.
Yes, it's big.
Huge new
Big,
development.
300 and something
Yes,
units.
450k, not particularly cheap actually, but loads of units. And that used to be the Hotel Melia Torremolinos, and for about 30 years it was a big hole in the ground.
So is this area going to be rejuvenated,
yes,
do you think?
yes. These
because
apartments.
that's not a cheap development. As you say,
No,
I think it's
nothing.
450 for a 1 bed, 550 for a 2 bed or something like that.
I used to live in this apartment building here.
Is there any way you haven't lived?
This is 2 of 4, I think.
Did you sofa surf?
No, I had this for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
When I was in high school. So my dad had an
Right.
apartment to myself, pretty much. And so that new development there is super interesting because all this stuff here has been fairly well maintained. The prices have stayed, but from here, you go down actually. Let's just do a little Scooby-Doo down here. This is the Pez Espada roundabout. Now the first luxury hotel.
Pez Espada, yeah, I was going to say that's
This
a
one
swordfish.
right ahead of us.
Yeah.
That's the first luxury hotel in the Costa del Sol.
What, this one in front?
1959. Frank Sinatra, Brigitte Bardot,
Right,
you name
you've
it.
got a story to tell about Frank Sinatra.
Well, he got chucked out of the country because he got in a scrap. I think it was with a reporter in here in this hotel,
No.
and they kicked him out.
I was just going to say, what was he doing here in the first place?
Partying. This was like all the glitz. This became super. This is like the Puerto Banús.
Okay.
The Puente Romano of 1960.
So I was going
is
to say,
this here.
take me back. So is that when it kind of got
Yes.
on the map?
1959 is when it's opened.
Okay.
So it's the first 5-star luxury hotel.
Okay. Pez Espada, yeah.
And this is where all the sort of celebrities and
Brigitte Bardot and all that.
all the Ava Gardner, all these people. They actually have so much heritage that in reception there's a book of all the signatures and pictures, and there's all pictures of all the different people that have been to visit.
And what's it like now?
Well, I actually was there left here.
Oh, did I go left? Oh, yeah. You were there?
I was there recently for a Kiro get together.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, and it's really well kept. It's really well kept. It's more a 4-star thing now than a 5-star, but it's well kept. So it's interesting. But it's very nice. Very a bit what's the word? Kishi, like kind of like. It's got that 70s look to it, the way it's been redesigned, redeveloped.
So this place in the 60s was the swinging 60s resort of the Mediterranean, wasn't it?
Torremolinos was, but not this particular area.
Oh.
What we're in right now is a place called La Carihuela.
Yeah.
Okay, La Carihuela is either side of Torremolinos. You have 2 stretches. This is what the side on the Marbella side of Torremolinos. If you take a right now,
Yeah. Good beaches at Carihuela.
great beaches. Great beaches all of Torremolinos, to be honest.
Yeah,
with
they are.
you. There's none of this sort of like you need even to get tractors to put sand in the wide reaches.
Yeah, they don't import this.
So the La Carihuela pretty much starts around here in front of us.
Yeah.
I'll add some B-roll so people can see because you can't really drive down it.
Okay.
But I just wanted you to get a sense of it. So the Carihuela all the way there to the center of Torremolinos, where on the left,
everyone's out on the beach.
it's all, this is like Chiringuito Central, but the original Chiringuitos. So when I grew up, this is where we would go for fish. There was no road, so the boats would be just on the sand, and then you have the Chiringuito. There was no
What was it like
pavements.
there? Because you were obviously
Fishermen.
living here, but I guess this was a hub for tourism and mass market tourism.
It was. I mean,
So how does that
Carihuela
all
maybe
work?
slightly.
Yeah.
The other bit we're going to go to in a minute, you'll see.
Because I had a couple of my colleagues, Gary and Amy, they came down here the other weekend and they had a fantastic time. They said because I don't think they were expecting much, but they said the beach clubs, the restaurants, the cafes, the promenade, the beach, top class.
This is well known because it's a fishing village. It was a fishing village, but from from as far back as you want, any old pictures of Torremolinos, you see that stretches of here.
Okay.
So when I grew up in the 80s, this was still a bit of a fishing village. In the 90s, it became a very heavy presence of Dutch people, Netherlands.
I don't get that.
Yeah, for the Netherlands.
Okay.
And so if you walk down the promenade here, it's all nice and chiringuitos, but towards the end of it, it's all Dutch bars and Dutch music and Dutch people.
And the Dutch are still prevalent here, aren't they? The Dutch are the main.
The Dutch are the number one
buyers.
foreign buyers.
So there is that history there, isn't there?
Yes, but it's, for me, to my eye, it started in the 90s because I lived here in the 80s and it wasn't really a thing.
So 60s and 70s,
60s,
booming, exciting,
60s and
glamorous.
70s. It's from the sort of hippie era transition, super hip.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans, a lot of Swedes, a lot of Americans dodging the draft. We're here. Okay.
Oh,
A lot of drugs,
really?
a lot of drugs and hedonism and sex, drugs and rock and roll was here.
We missed out, mate.
Yeah. Then in the 80s, it was when I was here, it was more, then towards the end of the 70s, the stretch we're about to go down that was like disco fever. Like late 70s, there was nightclub after nightclub, traffic jams at 3 a.m.
Really?
Studio 54, exactly, like that sort of thing. Massive nightclubs, all doing like Saturday Night Fever stuff. My sisters used to sneak out of home.
Just born a bit too late.
Yeah. And there were traffic jams and Ferraris at 3 a.m. and all that. It's like Puerto Banús.
But you've got to tell me, you've got to tell me about the sexy Swedes, because I couldn't believe that was a thing.
Yeah, it was known as where the Swickas are, the female, the sexy.
Why did they come here?
There was a Swedish school. If I remember correctly, there was actually someone that ignited it, which was something to do with some earthquake or something in Tunisia or somewhere else that they used to go for package holidays.
Yeah.
And there was an issue where they go. I think it was Tunisia or Algeria. And they started coming here instead, and then it became a thing. There was a Swedish school for girls, as I remember. On the right, you're going to go right here.
So all these blonde Swedish nubile young ladies were, well, I would imagine they were flavoured.
So the Spanish young men loved it. They would come to Torremolinos for the Suecas.
And do we have any kind of evidence that they got together long term? Have we got any Spanish
No, not
Swedish
really.
families?
No, not really.
Okay, so it was a hookup. Tell me, there's something we've forgotten, isn't there?
Probably. What have we forgotten?
Well, we got two guests.
two girls. Oh yeah. Well, it's the school holidays, so I got my kids. Zoe, Violet, say hello to the camera. Hello. So that's Violet, and that's Zoe. You guys got YouTube channels too, right?
Yeah, subscribe to Zoe Bloy-Dawson.
There you go.
How about that for marketing?
You see this on the
Obviously learning
right?
off the dad.
Looks like a bit of a boat. This has
Yeah.
been there since I was a kid.
Okay.
It's like a shopping type thing, a language school and stuff. And then this used to be the cinema. This on the right here, this little, it's still the same building. They've not done anything with it since I was a kid.
Is there a centre to Torremolinos?
Yes.
Or is it just little districts?
No, there is.
Iron Skull motorcycles.
Now there's a heavy Dutch biker thing going on.
Oh, is
here.
there?
Yeah. Now we're coming into an area called Montemar.
There's a lot of little kind of minorities going on there, isn't there?
There is. This is where disco fever, 70s.
I can feel it.
This stretch here, from here to the end of what you see at the end there, this was it. Now it's just a few swingers clubs, and it's just like the most depressing.
Oh, really?
It hasn't recovered since the 80s.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
But this was it. All these look like bingos and big things. They were all discos. This was
Bingos?
I told you. Disco number one, Cleopatra's, Borsalino, all these type of ones. I think it was Borsalino. This was a disco fever.
It's my kind of place.
And this used to be
Shame
called
on
Mamma
50s.
Mia, which I used to come with my dad for pizza. Oh, wow. But there's a whole thing with Torremolinos that a lot of the parts of it that were hip never really reinvented themselves and became anything else.
Okay.
And this is
Yeah,
one
so
example.
they're trapped in the past.
This is exactly. So this is an example of that. So now we're approaching the town center. Now the town center has been pedestrianized. So I'll show this as we go through it or past it. And the town center,
Have they done a good job?
they've been trying to do it, clean it up. But what it has too many remnants of decrepit, old, unrenovated stuff. So some of the bits are very nice. The one thing that Torremolinos Town Center is famous for is its central street, pedestrian street. That's been, again, you go back to pictures from the 1930s and 40s, you get it.
What's that street called?
Calle San Miguel.
Yeah.
And San Miguel is like the patron saint for Torremolinos. So
Okay.
the San Miguel is like a holiday here. On the right here,
Yeah.
you can't see it, but actually we can go down here. I'm gonna take
Shall
a
we go
right
down?
down here, yeah. This is significant for Torremolinos. We go down and then
Down there?
that way, yeah.
Yeah.
The first sort of big
We're
hotel.
close to the beach, aren't we? Everywhere
Oh,
we go.
everywhere. And the
it's-
views are,
Yeah.
because it's elevated. So to go to the beach, you're going to have to choose one side or the other. That's the difference where there's split.
Okay.
There's a rock that separates it.
Okay.
And the rock, there's a big apartment building on top of it. This one here on the left, you see it? On
Yeah,
the left
yeah.
slightly. With the car
Yeah.
switch shifts, you'll be able to see it. This is Santa Clara. And this is emblematic. This is, again, it was a bit like the Pez Espada, not as 5-star. Mostly a part hotel sort of
Yeah.
thing. A lot of apartments. A lot of friends from my school went here. In fact, Albert's ex-girlfriend lived here.
Yeah.
Now I think it's like an old people sort of thing. I don't know what it is. But this goes right back to the origins of the Costa del Sol. I think around 1927 or something like that. A British guy called Dylan Langworthy.
Joe, you know
But-
your stuff, don't you?
Well, yes.
I don't know. I'm sorry to
And
say that.
and it was a very loved guy and all that. And then it became a hotel. I think it was like in the 60s. It then eventually became a hotel. And you have people like Dali who loved it. And there's photographs of Dali and his Ngala, his girlfriend, hanging out by the pool here. And a few of the like retro, go right here. A few of the retro movies show it. So of course that's Santa Clara. But what you have is, imagine a big rock promontory, sort of
Yeah.
sticking out.
Yeah.
I'll show a picture of it.
And that's there.
That's what that's on top of.
So you're either, you can't walk, you're there or you're there.
When you before the 80s, before like 1989, 1990, so you want to go right here. You had to either swim around or come back up and then go back down. It was
I
a
see.
nightmare.
Okay, yeah.
So what you have is therefore very distinct areas because of it.
Yeah.
And then I think around 89, 90, around that sort of time, they did a walk around the rock, so you could just walk
Right.
across.
Okay.
And then from the town center to get down, there's a mad staircase that's always also very emblematic of Torremolinos, that you have to go down all the way down from the rock down to the beach.
I see rainbow flags.
Torremolinos is a gay mecca. I don't know how else to put it. It was originally
going up
up, and then
Okay.
the second road on the right.
Yeah, because you were telling me about the sort of history of the gay Torremolinos, because it was and then it wasn't and then it is again.
Yeah, Torremolinos has different. Yeah, you're right. Has very distinct eras. So
Yeah, it does.
was
doesn't it?
like
More
the-
so than other places, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So 50s and 60s, a lot of hippies were here.
Yeah.
Then as a mid 60s, a lot of Americans started coming, sort of escaping the draft and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it was like the 60s, 70s. So it was.
So this was a place to
drugs,
escape to and enjoy yourself.
hedonistic, like
Yeah.
young people, drugs, rock and roll. This is very much like as you imagine, like Woodstock or LA
Okay.
in that era.
was that
was
big.
here.
Okay.
Okay. But remember, it was a dictatorship. But Franco allowed it. He turned a blind eye to it because it was a nice source of revenue.
Okay.
So this bit in front of us here, you're starting to see those buildings with the orange canopies.
Yeah.
That's a whole series of apartments that was super high level luxury back in the day. I think it's like late 60s at some point that it was built, and it's called La Nogalera, and it's all above ground. So there's a
Yes.
series. You see that little bridge thing across there?
Yes.
There's pools, all sorts of stuff like that, but it's raised, and below
Yes.
it there's a whole bunch of clubs and little shopping.
And it's not the
restaurants.
most attractive place, is it? I've been once. I can't remember much about it because I think I drank about a half bottle of vodka and ended up being.
Well, when I grew up,
Sick.
this was where I used to go out for nightlife, as a non-gay regular sort of high school jock. You know what I mean?
Right, okay.
But sort of in the 50s, I think it's 50s, around the 50s, 60s, there was a very heavy gay scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Franco got the hump and sent the word to William one time, and it got rid of everybody and got rid of everything on the left here. Basically, is like the little gay area. But then it became that again, like in the 90s and 2000s. So it is like a very popular place for nightlife, especially. What we got now is on the left and on the right, where this woman is. That's Calle San Miguel. So if you kind of stop on that these people through. There's 1,000 photographs.
This
up,
is really
see?
the center.
Look up that. If you look on the left, I'll show pictures on the screen.
Yeah.
This is Calle San Miguel, and this has been like this
Okay.
since before we were born. And it goes right down, all the way down the stairs, all the way to the beach, right to the top.
Who lives here?
Who lives here?
Is it a mixture or
It's
is
a
it
mixture.
retirees? Is it Brits? Is
It's
it
generally
Dutch?
quite old.
it?
It's generally
Okay.
quite old.
Is that
But
because everything's on your doorstep?
I think it's
And you're
just,
close
I
to
think
the
it's because
airport,
it became.
so it's stress free, isn't it?
I think it's because it became out of fashion. Honestly, I was in the 80s. It was peak time package holidays, Brits abroad type thing.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And it sort of became unfashionable a little bit like if you used the people. I get my impression is that the people that are now 70 coming here are the same people that were coming when they were 30.
But then
they're just older.
Yeah, and then it went through a phase of not really attracting any young new blood, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
but now it is.
Yeah, but it's still not quite there. But what you have is this is the town center.
Okay.
The Carihuela is one set of people, a lot of Dutch, like I said. And then the other side of it, which is what we're coming down to now. So we're basically coming down the side of the rock.
So we've done Carihuela, Nogalera.
The town center.
Yeah.
And now we're going down towards an area called Playamar. Now Playamar is was like the Beverly Hills of Torremolinos. It was there's 15 or 20 different high-rise towers.
Oh, you like a high-rise tower?
But these are nice ones, and this is where to this date they're considered luxury.
Okay.
You're still paying $800,000-900,000 for an apartment. These are one of the, and they killed the skyline of Torremolinos. There's pictures showing like absolutely virgin coast, and then this row of there was a lot of controversy about it, but they really maintained it. So they're still considered to be high end. It's all gated. You go right here. And so this first part, the part to our right that we're not going to see because we can't do everything, is a bit below the town center, and that's called Bajondillo. Then you have Playamar, which is this area to the left that we're going to drive past now. And then you have Los Alamos, and that's where all the nightlife is for the young people. Really? A lot of Spanish.
So we won't be going there.
Well, not during the day, but we're passing by it. So a lot of beach clubs and stuff like that. So the real, like if we come on a Saturday
But is
night,
that still kind of part of town or?
Not town, no, not town, and people don't really associate with that.
Different.
Like we used to go out to town drinking when I was young.
Yeah.
They don't go to town and then go there. They go straight there.
Okay.
It's the only equal. But that didn't exist. When I was young, this was.
But can they
the road
walk
stopped.
there?
They wouldn't have to. They wouldn't live. They probably don't live in Torremolinos.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is nice. This is as critical now about a lot of parts of the Costa del Sol.
Oh,
If you look on the right, you won't be able to see.
some lovely beach clubs.
It goes right to the
Beach
rock
clubs.
at the end. That building at the top there. That was the one the Santa Clara one.
Yeah.
And do you see these towers up ahead?
Side.
These were done by Studio Alameda, the architect
Oh,
studio.
so these? Yes, I see what you mean. Okay.
Okay, and Alameda, the son of the guy that designed these, is the guy that's designed the Malaga towers. That's why they look so. When I saw the Malaga towers, I thought they look
So have
familiar.
they done that as a nod to him?
I don't know, but they're slightly more curved and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're definitely like very, very similar.
They are, aren't they?
So now we're coming to Playamar. Chiringuitos are great. It's a residential area. It's a very Spanish and foreign area, but old foreign, like Dutch people that moved here in the 60s and 70s and 80s with their
Do
families.
people tend to stay?
Yes, yeah. This is a slightly older crowd generally in terms of who lives here.
These beaches.
The
they're
beaches
fabulous.
are all the way. They're just spectacular.
And I suppose the other thing we haven't mentioned is the fact that you're so close to the airport here, aren't you? I mean,
Well,
literally, 15 minutes?
yeah, we'll get to that. I mean,
Right.
this is why I think you got to change the chip. This is not somewhere to buy for getting a cheap property. It's somewhere to buy because it's so practical.
Don't need a car. You can walk everywhere.
It's
Fabulous
on the train
beaches.
line. It's on the train line.
The train line as well.
So you get to Malaga in like 15 minutes. It's
Wow.
mad. It's so practical. It depends where you live. So Torremolinos really is. You'll look at a property portal and go, "Oh, that's affordable." Careful, because there's some areas you don't want to buy in.
There is a gap, isn't there, between affordable and, whoa, hang on a minute, we're going into the new build.
Yeah, it's not
Market.
cheap. I mean, really, like you can see on a property portal properties for 200, 300,000.
Hasn't this place it's had the most growth or something, hasn't it?
Yeah, in the 2025 to 2024, there was a 33 to 36% increase in prices, which seems a bit drastic. I'm not entirely sure whether there's some catch up in there in those figures.
Right.
This on the left, was Uncle Willie's. That's where I played with my band one time.
Uncle
for like-
Willie's. You were
This
in a
building
band?
here on the left, this tall one, the first one.
Yeah.
This one. We moved here in 1975 with my family when I was 4. So this
Wow.
is where we first moved to when we came to Spain.
So
We're going
this
to come
is
back
your-
up this way.
This is your patch, isn't it?
This is my patch. We're going to come back up this way. But so this is what we have on the left.
See, yeah.
The swimming pool area, which is just here on the left. You can't quite see it. It's behind these cars. That's where I learned to swim.
Oh,
And the building next to it that's where the old one with the Arab guy with the lions. And,
right. Okay, we need to hear about the minarets and the lion.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the exact details, but there was basically a very flamboyant hotel owner that had a pet lion, and was it a tiger? A lion, I think. a pet lion, and I remember because the entrance to the hotel were on the street side were two like Muslim minarets that you might get on a mosque.
Yeah.
And I remember that, and then there was all the stories of this very flamboyant character with his pet lions that you could pet, basically. And all along here, but these are the OG chiringuitos. They really are the original ones. Some of these have been here since 1960. Now, when I was growing up, this road that we're on right now stopped about here.
Okay.
Then it was just dirt. So this is post-19, they're talking late 80s. So this was all built after the 80s in terms of the road and the pavement.
I'll tell you one thing I have noticed, which I wasn't expecting, is there's a lot of very attractive people here.
Yeah, it's not what you'd imagine.
It's quite young, and it's quite,
yeah.
maybe it's the gay guys looking amazing.
This section right now, this is where the young people come out on a weekend.
Because I saw a few just...
So now the chiringuitos are more beach bars. If you look on the left, you got Mana and places like that.
Yeah.
This is on 3 a.m. on a Friday night or a Saturday night. There's this place buzzing with young people.
Really?
I'm very Spanish.
Okay.
You know, this isn't, for artists too, but it's where your 19, 20-year-old Spanish people from the surrounding areas come for a night out.
Wow, okay.
So this is really nice because it's a long stretch.
Yeah.
Very flat. By a beach is wide all along, and you normally, today it's a Friday, so people are working, stuff like that. But you normally have people just like on roller skates going down here, like when I was a kid. You know what I mean? That's how I remember it, as being very, very that way.
Is it still, in terms of holiday makers, is it still your package holiday? They book a 2-week trip. And
Yeah,
they get, the hotels. And...
like this to the left. Yeah, but the Spanish people have nostalgia for Torremolinos, and as opposed to the British reputation of thinking of it as them sort of like
chips and eggs
and Benidorm. It's not that at all, and it doesn't have that reputation with the Spanish people either.
Oh, really?
No. This is like where, this is what we think Marbella is, how it has been for the last 50 years. People would come from inland, from Madrid and stuff like that to come here, and they still do. And a lot of them have holiday homes right here.
Okay.
So you see, this is just forever. There's no. The main road is way out on the left.
Yeah,
so
I feel like we're going to end up in Malaga.
This hasn't got any weird traffic lights. This isn't ugly. There's loads of parking on the left. Look at the beaches on the right.
Wow.
Chiringuitos are great. I've eaten in probably 20 of the different ones that are down here. Those some older buildings there that are quite nice if you want something more classical.
Yeah.
What we have here now is this is the back end of Los Alamos. This was generally used to be, I think it was like sugarcane, and over the years they've flattened it and they've started to put a few nice new developments down here.
Okay.
And you're going to see one coming up on the left shortly, I think. But we're talking 1.5, 1.8. We're not gotta lose the mentality that this is a cheap and cheerful place.
Wow.
This area we're in now, you're paying the premium. You're paying, you're not getting anything for less than $500,000 if you're lucky. And most of the big buildings like this, these are hotels, so they're not for sale. But the apartment ones,
busy. There's lots of people.
But look at how nice and wide this is, and you have people there. It's not that ugly people thing that you get in some parts of the coast.
It still feels very much like a holiday place, though, which I like, because I don't get that feeling where I live. So this is like, I feel like I'm on my holidays. It's great. But it's a nice vibe to it. I see. So we're close to the airport.
Well, you'll see. You see on the left here, these.
So this, okay.
Okay, so this is new build.
Yeah.
And we're talking 1.5 to 1.8. But look at the views that they have. Look at the size of the balconies. Wow. It's serious.
We should have all bought these, shouldn't we, off plan?
Yeah, they weren't even cheap. That's the thing. It's not been cheap. Torremolinos has maintained its prices despite its lack of popularity in terms of
because I think when these were released, I think I looked at it and thought 400,000 or 500,000. I thought, Jesus,
pricey.
But actually, now I can see.
Yeah, the thing is that there's no through traffic going on here.
Is there enough? Is there enough around here? Do you think?
To
justify those prices?
God, yes.
Really?
Yes, this is exactly where I would buy. If I had the money, this is where I would
because
buy.
It seems that we've come out and we've lost
exactly.
a little bit of the
right. But let me tell you,
bump and grind.
Let me tell you where we are. You can see, look at the beaches on the right.
Stunning on there.
So it feels like we're like leaving town, right?
Yeah,
all the activity's gone. Where to buy milk?
Yeah.
Where can I even go for a shop?
Yeah,
I mean, it's nice, but now we're like in Tarifa feeling, right?
It
right?
does feel like
windy.
That. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what you got is at the end of this road, we're going to see in a second, there's a roundabout, and on that roundabout is Plaza Mayor, the biggest shopping commercial area in the whole of the western part of Costa del Sol.
Okay.
Where you have restaurants, loads of restaurants, a whole eating area. You have a disco. So I keep going. Yeah, it feels like going into the sticks, right? You see some of the sugarcaney type stuff on the left here?
Yeah.
That was what all that was when I was growing up.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to the moon.
Are we near that hospital that Paul went to? That.
Yeah, that's actually, we passed it from below.
Oh, okay. So it's up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep going till the end.
I
So now
know there's a KFC nearby.
there is.
I can sniff them out.
You can smell it from here. On the right side, you can't quite see it, but there's like the golf, a small golf paddle.
Oh, the paddle golf, yeah.
It's on the right. I was there for
I know
school
where we are
graduation the other day.
God, this is so close to the airport.
Well, this is 2 exits away. No, hold on, 1 exit.
But it's so close. I mean, it's
1 exit away.
You know, you could walk it, but...
So what we want to do now is go around the roundabout and come back again.
Okay. Yeah, and Blathermore right in front of you.
Yeah, so we just go around the roundabout. So
And you've got IKEA nearby and all
you got the retail park as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So go around the roundabout ahead of us. That's Plaza Mayor.
Like go up there or not?
No, just go left there.
Okay.
To the right, one junction.
Yeah.
And it's the airport.
That's a big
one
thing,
junction is the airport.
Because you know, when you come here on a holiday and you hire a car, it's going to cost you as much as the flights, isn't it, normally? So it's handy not to be not.
I mean, look at this. It's really weird. There's this. You're slam in the middle of the action, yet it feels like you're in Tarifa.
Yeah, it does. It feels very, very
low.
Tarifa-like.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
it's just windy and
Fabulous
people walking
beach,
around with their tops off. And
and then you hit
palm trees.
You hit the town just a bit
Yeah,
further up.
that's what I'm saying. It's like a tale of 3 cities. You know, you have the town center, which is its own beast, probably the least attractive of all the parts of Torremolinos, really.
Yeah.
And then we have Carihuela on one side with a Dutch influence, and it's sort of between Carihuela and you have Puerto Marina, the marina, which is walking distance. You know, so you want a Puerto Banús-esque thing, you can go to that. But this bit here, this is Tarifa, isn't it?
Yeah,
Look at this.
Yeah, it is.
And it gets very windy, so you got a lot of wind.
I was going to say, there's a bit
surfers.
of wind here, isn't there?
This part, only this bit, but you got a lot of those kite surfers over here.
Okay, so back to the tower.
So back to the tower. So here you're talking about 500,000 to 1 million.
What?
They've been here for 50 years. I mean, I was here when I was 4, so that's how long
It'll be
they've
like
been
that one at Torre Real, won't it? That emblematic.
The
but there's only one of them.
views from up there.
Have you been?
I lived in
there.
one. My friend Richard's mum has a place here. My friends Katya and Fiona, they had one of the penthouses.
Wow.
Now we're going up. Normally you'd see it arriving in, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But this is pretty cool. Look at this. Look,
This is where
this
does
is very
remind me
Miami
of?
or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's.
Can you imagine this though? 1970. Dang, dang, dang. You know, it hasn't changed.
This is like
they've
the outskirts
maintained
of
it.
Milan or something.
As opposed to the town centre where it's got a bit old and ugly, they've
Yeah.
maintained it. So even though the yellow looks a bit dated,
Yeah, I mean they're obviously old
the
buildings, but they
grounds-
look kind of cool and kitsch, don't
the
they?
grounds are immaculate.
Wow.
There's everything. You don't go in without a gate, without anyone
Yeah.
buzzed in, and there's big, loads of space between the houses.
It's almost quite brutalist, isn't it? But it's
Yeah, well, Brutalist, you'll
works.
see, I'll show you Brutalist in a minute. So we're coming out of Playamar,
yeah.
and this bit of the top called Benjamina. Now, when we moved here in 1974, about 2 or 3 years later, we then rented a house up this hill.
You've had too many houses, haven't you?
And it was like a house where my dad grew like vegetables, and I mean, a lot of this other stuff wasn't here. But
So you're a real local. Would you ever move out of this area?
well, I live in Malaga now, but I
But
would.
that's. I mean, it's still. You're still attached.
If I
aren't
didn't
you?
know, like honestly, for my work, because I work in real estate related stuff, I would probably live near Marbella.
Okay.
Again, it goes back to the tribe thing. But my friends are here. I went to school here. My kids go to school here. I got a lot of roots here.
I was going to ask about schools. So, if people wanted to settle here, what are the options?
You have there's public schools everywhere. That's needless to say. Okay.
By public, we mean
The
Spanish.
state schools, sorry,
Yeah.
state schools.
Okay.
There's the one actually on here, as memory serves me, there's a really high sought after state school up this road somewhere around this
Okay.
area. There's like a waiting list for it. But private schools, you have the Malaga, you got private schools in Malaga.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, in Torremolinos itself, you got Sunnyview School, which is where I went, and the girls go, and my
Okay.
wife works, and Albert runs.
Okay, so you're very attached to that.
Yeah, and I went there myself, so it's a
Good school?
spectacular school. Spectacular school.
Why?
You just got to look at.
Because you went.
No, you got to look at the amount of parents who have put their kids in there and they went to the school, put their own kids in there
Okay,
afterwards.
that's always the sign.
What it's it's a place
They trust it for their kids.
They love the kids at that school.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? And you can tell.
And is it up to
You got-
18 or 16?
It's up to 18. It's right. It was from preschool actually. So
Oh,
from,
wow. That must be a big school.
I think it's not huge. I think they have about 800, 900 pupils.
That's enough.
When I was there, maybe we had 300, something like that. And it was it's privately owned. It's one of the few private schools that isn't owned by some big fund, and
Yeah.
some big international thing, which has its pluses and minuses. But so it's kind of like family owned, but professionally run, I guess you could say, that sort of thing. And like the woman that's the managing director, her mother was the principal when I was there. The guy that's the deputy managing director is Albert, who you know.
Yeah.
And he went to the school, and he's my best friend. And the owner I lived with in New York.
Okay.
The
so
other-
you've got
you know,
a real connection.
So it's like somewhere that it has something special about it, you know. And then in Malaga you got 3 other British schools. They all have a similar name. You're gonna go left here. They all have similar names: British College, Malaga, British International College, and stuff
Yes.
like that. I mean, they're okay. I know people that go there. I know people that teach there. But Sunnyview is, as despite the hippie name, it's special.
It is a hippie
It's
name,
special. Yeah, it's special.
Tell me about the relationship between Torremolinos and Malaga, because obviously they're kind of joining a little bit. Do you go to Malaga quite a lot? I mean, is it somewhere that...
I don't, but people do. I don't
Yeah.
because it doesn't come. My work's in the opposite direction.
Yeah, and
There's a lot of employment in Malaga, so a lot of people. You want to go through here, and then we're gonna go. When we get back home, we're gonna go straight because we're gonna go into Torremolinos. I want you to see
Okay.
the
So we're
brutalist.
coming at it from the other side, basically.
Yeah, so we've basically gone below it,
Yes. now
down,
we'll come up.
and now we're going back up
So
again.
if we were coming from the airport and we didn't take that road onto the motorway, we'd come this way, wouldn't we? I think.
Yeah, this way, or probably the road up there.
yeah.
But you could this way as well. There's like 10 different ways of going straight ahead. So now we're coming into Torremolinos from the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And pretty much in terms of living, if you look at a property portal, you'll see some affordable stuff from now on.
Okay.
I'll try and show a map more or less with a circle on it of what this area is.
So is this where you can get better value?
You can get better
But it's not
prices.
value, is it? It's
better
cheaper.
prices.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a lot. It's very
And
old.
is that because the
very
stock
small,
is old and small and
old,
nasty
small,
and-
nasty? Yeah.
Okay. But is there value in buying stuff like this and doing it up and turning it?
Only in the long game. So that's just
Okay.
today. Yes, has been here since before I was born.
It's
I
not
think
the most attractive, is it?
this on the left is where
Yeah,
Tom used to live.
yeah.
I nearly bought there for 80,000.
Yeah.
But now we're coming into like the town center is ahead of us, and now we're kind of
Right.
actually this is fine.
Oh, I've been around here
Okay.
before, didn't we?
We go around and go back down that way. We're gonna try and go. We want to go that way, but I don't know where it lets us. Let's go straight ahead. Yeah, that way.
I went to a dentist around here.
Yeah. So this whole area here is now getting a little bit ropey.
Is it?
It's the town's. It doesn't.
still
look,
feels
It
okay.
feels okay. This bit feels okay.
But you can tell the buildings aren't as well kept.
Yeah.
Things like that. which
These
are
actual
little
ones
giveaways.
are very old. They're okayish.
Yeah.
I
But
parked
they
here to
haven't
go
had
to my
like-
gestor, and I left my helmet on my bike. I came back 30 seconds later. Somebody nicked it.
Oh, really?
That kind of thing. Right. So everything to our left is the town center. And you can see how old some of these buildings are
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You can. I would like to. Yeah. Go right.
Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. It's not the most attractive, is it?
No, and it probably looks nicer on camera right now because it's a sunny day. And you know,
If you were holidaying here, you wouldn't come to this bit, would you?
you would if you didn't know not to. Like people need to know this. So when you're buying here or looking to buy, and you're looking at prices, looking at availability, this
Don't
just
get
needs,
taken in.
Don't get taken in by this area because this area is right next to everything. If you
And
look
it's-
at it on a Google Earth, you probably think, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's cheap but nasty. On a nighttime, on a cloudy February day, look to your left now and tell me that isn't Marseille the ghetto.
You see,
Look at that.
but yeah, okay, that was a bit of a shock. Do you know the other thing I'm noticing is that there's this disparity, isn't there? Because you've got really old stock, some of which is better than others, but then you've got this gap, and then you've got brand new builds. There's kind of nothing been built in the last, or it feels like it's been nothing
Yeah, no, it's
new in
super
the last
old.
10 years.
It's super old. It's super
So
old.
it's either super old or it's super new and expensive. And it's kind of like, oh, for some reason, Torremolinos is now on the map, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and it deserves to be. But so you're gonna go around the roundabout, and as you turn round, I want you to cast your eye into this. Yes, right round and back where we came. This is into town center where you can
We're
see
going to have a look at the
Brutalist.
Marseille.
You know that, and also the Brutalist. Look at the 3 buildings right ahead of us as you
Wow.
turn.
That's a bit, I love a bit of that.
Now that could be
Look at
made
that.
really cool on purpose.
That could be cool, but I don't know how you do it. But yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
But that's the spectacular, and
Here
they
we
were
go.
done.
Here we go.
So yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Now I've seen you taking a black and white picture of that, haven't
I
you?
have.
Which was amazing because in black and white, it looks even more.
See behind right ahead of us, where it says Millar, on those steps on the right. That's where I took that picture.
Okay.
I'll show the picture on the screen.
It's a great shot
Canvas,
because you don't see.
Well, Pia's husband is a videographer for like hip hop groups. He's done a few videos around here.
Really, I can see.
You see, so those steps there on the right. You see, that's where I did a picture of Zoe.
I think that's fab.
It's
in a weird way.
Yeah, it is. I find it attractive in a
very
ugly
watchable.
way.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd want to live there myself, but. This would be, we were going to go back up to the motorway.
Okay.
This is kind of where we'll be heading in front of us.
So there's a nice exit and escape, isn't there?
From
You
all
need to get
angles.
somewhere.
Yeah, from all angles. Yeah. I mean, you haven't seen the town centre itself because it's pedestrianised it, but I'll show shots. Do you want to go to the left lane? Okay. This stuff in front of us is the Congress. Every town has one. The events.
Congress Centre.
Yeah, the Congress Centre. And if you go up there, you join the road that goes to the airport and it's everywhere. The A7.
So the AP7 is just there, isn't it? It's
exactly
literally just
exactly. Now, so the area above the town is this bit. The bit slightly to the side and above the town, which you won't see today, is El Calvario. And El Calvario is funny because it looks a bit grotty.
Yeah.
But it's a very authentic Spanish neighborhood. And these were the people back in the day before it was even, like we're talking 1930s and 40s, where it was just like goats and stuff. The left. And and in the 70s and 80s, it became kind of where the services for the hotel boom. All the people that worked in hotels, all the services were.
Tell me, does Torremolinos have an aqua park?
It does. The original aqua park, the first aqua park.
Like Rebecca's
coming up on the right. You see it?
The kid there.
You might see it through the trees on the right.
Any good?
I've never been. Honestly. I grew up here, but I've never been. So now we're gonna go right. So we were going back into town. We could go left through El Calvario, past the town,
here.
up, right up, through El Calvario, up the town. Now we're gonna go right, and this is a bit above. The relevance of this is that there's a couple of new developments up here that a lot of people are talking about. And this lady here is about to get wiped.
Need to paint that.
This is the area where you have
nice.
the municipal football grounds to the right.
Yeah.
The sports facilities on the far right.
Okay.
It's in front of us. We're gonna go left on this roundabout. This in front of us is like what becomes like the fairground during the feria. Also becomes the car boot sale on a Sunday.
Okay.
And there's like a bull ring at the end of it. At the end there.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we're going into a pined area.
A what?
A pine tree area.
Tree.
Yeah, the pines, right?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
Pine? I don't know.
Let's make that up. Everything on the left now is a massive Spanish state school called Palma de Mallorca. I went there for about 3 months. I think it was 3 months.
Did they kick you out?
And it was like going to prison. Horrific.
Really?
We're talking 1970s.
It looks like a prison actually.
We're talking 1970s, so maybe it's okay now. I don't know, but it was horrific.
Okay.
Massive though. This on the right is pines. You can go for barbecues.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very.
In front of us, we're gonna go up the hill now. But in front of us, all the area in front of us is basically started off being up the hill. Started being being like a industrial park, a polígono.
Okay.
But then it's become residential.
So I guess with developers, there's nothing in town, is there? So they have to come out slightly to get the land, and this is a prime example in front of us.
So this in front of us is the 2 by Kronos. So you have One Oak, and I think the one's called,
we've sold in these.
Yeah.
You know these quite well. I mean, it feels like we're just kind of a little bit out of the action here.
Oh, but it's really quick to get into the action.
Is it? But you can't walk it, can you?
You could, but you probably wouldn't want to. But there's there's action down this hill. So this on our right here is the One Oak one. To the left, all this white stuff on the left.
Yeah.
That's Sunnyview School. Look at the views from up here, though. Okay.
Wow. Okay. So this is the trade-off, isn't it?
This is what you get up here.
If it's the same anywhere, if you come slightly up the hill, like a 2-3 minute drive, you get the views that you don't get when you're in town.
So these apartments here, they're a bit more elevated than we are right now. But like you see right across to Granada and stuff like that.
Fabulous.
My wife's office, Jess's office, is the top of that. You see the top of that building there?
Yeah.
That little slice, that's her office. That's the studio. That's where the studio is. So all this is the school on the right.
Great.
But look at the sea right in
That's
front of us. You know, so
It's fantastic.
you wouldn't want to walk to the beach from here because the walk back up would kill you.
Yeah.
But it is doable.
And there are amenities kind of scattered.
They are down
before
here.
you get further down.
So this now is like residential bits and
Yeah.
pieces. You know, it's still, you're talking $450-ish
Yeah,
for an apartment.
It's not cheap, is it?
You know, for 2-3 bedrooms, four,
And
500.
do you think Torremolinos has the right to charge that compared
Yeah,
to other
it
places?
does.
Okay.
I think the only people that don't know that are the Brits.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you're right. I think there's a snobbery value about Torremolinos being the place that they actually created.
Yeah, well, it's thought when you think of it in the same line as Benidorm, don't you?
Yeah.
And I did a blog about Torremolinos, and the reason I did a blog was because all the guidebooks that I normally use to travel around the world, back when I traveled, like the Rough Guide and all these other ones, the chapter on Torremolinos, right? Yeah, the chapter on Torremolinos is like, don't bother, keep driving.
Oh, really?
And so it kind
That's what
of
you
that
tell
irked me a
people,
little.
that's
Yeah,
what we
that's what
do
the
in real
guidebook.
estate.
That's what the
Yeah.
guidebooks do. And so I said, no, that's not the story. That's not the full story here.
And also, it's the thing with real estate. It's the thing about if you don't know it, you don't sell it
Yeah.
because you're not sure about what you're talking about.
Look at the places. I mean, we haven't been able to see everywhere, but look at the places we've seen already, from La Carihuela to the Montemar bit with the Carbureas.
You see, I would come back now. Now that you've shown me,
I mean, the Los Alamos bit for me is.
I would phone you up and say, right, Alfredo, I'm going for lunch in Torremolinos tomorrow. Where do you recommend?
Yeah.
Because
There's some good places to eat.
it's great. The beaches, even just looking at the beaches, even if you're not a beach person, it's still
Yeah. Well, we go
really nice.
quite often for lunch down to the Chiringuito,
Yeah.
and you're in a nice beach environment there.
Yeah.
So you got big Carrefour here, followed by a giant Mercadona.
Okay, which is all you need in
Yeah.
life.
This in front of us we're coming to now is kind of like the industrial estate, pretty much from the corner upwards.
Okay. Every town has one, doesn't it?
And then in Torremolinos town center, you have a train station. In Los Alamos, you have a train station.
Tell me about.
And El Pinillo, this is the area here, it's called El Pinillo.
Right. Yeah, I heard of that.
And El Pinillo has a train station, which we'll pass in a sec.
So tell me about the trains. So do they run all day, all night?
Yes,
or-
I mean, I don't use them much anymore, but it could have changed asterisks, but generally it's every 20 minutes up to about midnight.
And that takes
more or
you
less.
to Malaga City
Malaga City to Fuengirola, then within Malaga there's
and the airport.
There's and then there's a subway within Malaga to go to a few more places.
But that's brilliant. I mean, imagine when these two are a bit more grown
It's great
up.
it's great when you're growing up.
Yeah.
Because you can as long as you live somewhere near a train stop,
Exactly.
your kids can get in the train and go to the school.
Because you have one in Aurora,
Which is what we did.
don't you?
Yeah, we have a train stop in our It's 2 stops away. No, 1 stop away.
Right. Okay.
And there's also a Montemar train station. So it's serving Torremolinos. There's 4 train stops.
See, we don't have the train in Marbella. Just never even thought about having it or do it. Well, they thought about having it, but it's never been feasible. But
So now we're going to go down the left.
that's the fire station.
And now we're coming to this roundabout down here, and then to the right, we're leaving Torremolinos. So this, Sean, is Torremolinos. Mercadona.
It's wicked.
What do you think?
Well, do you know what? It's bigger than I thought.
Oh, behave.
I like it because it's got soul, hasn't it?